Imagine a personality so rare that it exists in only a tiny fraction of humanity. A personality that carries a weight of perception most will never know, a depth of thought that defies ordinary understanding, and an intensity of emotion that can both illuminate and consume. From the outside, these individuals may appear quiet, even ordinary, blending into the crowd like shadows. But beneath the surface lies a mind that is constantly calculating, feeling, and observing with a precision that others cannot comprehend. Their presence is subtle, yet it leaves an invisible mark on the people and events around them, influencing outcomes in ways that remain hidden from those who cannot see. This personality is not rare by coincidence. It emerges at the intersection of heightened perception, deep intuition, and profound sensitivity. They are the ones who notice what others overlook, the pattern in a stranger's behavior, the undercurrent of tension in a conversation, the subtle energy shift in a room. Their awareness is almost surgical. They can read between the lines of words, emotions, and actions to reveal truths that remain invisible to the majority. And yet, for all their insight, they often feel like outsiders, observing life as if through a window, detached from the superficial flow that most take for granted. Their rarity is not just a statistical fact, it is a defining feature of their existence. Being different in a world designed for conformity comes with its own set of challenges. This personality type is constantly balancing between brilliance and isolation, between clarity and confusion. Their thoughts move at a speed and depth that others cannot match, creating a sense of alienation that is both liberating and lonely. They see connections where others see randomness, foresee consequences that others cannot imagine, and feel emotions with an intensity that can be both a gift and a burden. Society often misunderstands them. Their quiet demeanor is mistaken for indifference, their careful observation for judgment, and their measured words for coldness. Many have tried to label them, to fit them into a box, but their complexity defies simplification. They do not act according to trends, social expectations, or the opinions of the crowd. Instead, their actions are guided by an internal compass, a set of principles and perceptions that is uniquely their own. To misunderstand them is natural because their world operates on a level that most will never consciously reach. Yet, what makes this personality truly dangerous, or at least misunderstood, is not their rarity, but the power that accompanies it. This is a type of person who can perceive opportunities long before others notice, who can influence decisions with a single well-placed insight, who can unravel problems that have confounded many. They can be leaders without a title, visionaries without recognition, and catalysts for change without seeking credit. And yet, their power is invisible, subtle, often masked by humility, restraint, or the careful control of their emotions. Even their relationships are shaped by this intensity. They connect on levels that are invisible to ordinary interactions. They see not just who someone is on the surface, but the hidden motives, the fears, the unrealized potential. This makes them empathetic in ways that are rare, but it also makes them selective, cautious, and sometimes misunderstood as distant. Many fear what they do not understand, and their very presence can provoke discomfort in those who are unprepared to meet such depth. There is also a paradox in their rarity. While their abilities and insights set them apart, they also make them vulnerable. They are acutely aware of human flaws, societal hypocrisy, and personal limitations, not just in themselves, but in everyone around them. This awareness can inspire great creativity, wisdom, and compassion, but it can also lead to overthinking, doubt, and isolation. They live in the tension between extraordinary potential and constant scrutiny, between the desire to connect and the need to protect themselves from being misunderstood. To encounter this personality, even briefly, is to glimpse something extraordinary. It is to see a mind that refuses to settle for ordinary explanations, a heart that refuses to numb itself, and a presence that carries both brilliance and intensity. It is a personality that challenges assumptions, disrupts complacency, and forces reflection in those who cross their path. And yet, because it is so rare, it is often invisible till it acts, until it speaks, until it moves in a way that cannot be ignored. Beneath the surface of the rarest personality type lies a mind that operates on levels most cannot even imagine. Their inner world is not shallow or ordinary, it is a vast, intricate landscape of thought, feeling, and perception. Every experience is filtered through layers of analysis, intuition, and reflection. Nothing is taken at face value. They are constantly examining themselves, others, and the hidden mechanisms of the world around them. This depth is not a casual trait. It is an inherent way of being. It colors every thought, every decision, and every interaction, giving them insights that can be as enlightening as they are disarming. Their psychological architecture is complex. While most people navigate life through routine, instinct, or social cues, this personality type lives in a realm of internal exploration. They dissect motivations, uncover hidden patterns, and explore possibilities that others dismiss. This makes them exceptionally perceptive, capable of understanding dynamics that elude even the most experienced observers. Yet, this perceptiveness is rarely displayed outwardly. It functions quietly, like a lens that constantly scans, measures, and interprets. They know more than they say, feel more than they reveal, and notice more than anyone suspects. One of the most striking aspects of their psychological depth is their relationship with intuition. While many rely on logic or conventional reasoning, they often trust a subtle inner knowing that defies explanation. This intuition is not random. It is informed by their extraordinary sensitivity to patterns, energy, and context. It allows them to anticipate outcomes, detect deception, and navigate complex situations with a precision that appears almost uncanny. Others may dismiss their instincts as mere hunches, but these hunches are often the result of a mind constantly synthesizing countless subtle details into coherent understanding. Emotional intensity is another cornerstone of their depth. This personality type does not experience feelings superficially. Every emotion, whether joy, sadness, anger, or fear, is felt fully and examined critically. They understand the nuances of human emotion, both in themselves and in others, which gives them the capacity for extraordinary empathy. However, this intensity can be overwhelming. When unguarded, they may feel everything at once, which can create internal turbulence that few others can comprehend. Their emotions are both a source of insight and a potential vulnerability, a double-edged sword that must be navigated with care. This inner complexity extends to their moral and ethical framework. They are not satisfied with simple answers or societal norms. Instead, they constantly evaluate, question, and refine their principles. Their sense of right and wrong is deeply personal, shaped by reflection and experience rather than conformity. This can make them appear enigmatic or unpredictable to others because their decisions often reflect internal logic that is invisible to the outside world. They live in a realm where authenticity is paramount and compromise of self-integrity is often intolerable. Another dimension of their depth is their capacity for introspection. They examine their own minds with a rigor that few can match. They explore motivations, fears, and desires with relentless curiosity, striving to understand the forces that drive themselves and others. This introspection is not always comfortable. It can reveal shadow aspects of personality, hidden biases, and uncomfortable truths. But it also equips them with profound self-awareness, which becomes a source of both resilience and wisdom. Through understanding themselves, they gain the ability to navigate the complexities of life with clarity that ordinary minds rarely achieve. Creativity and imagination are also amplified by this psychological depth. Their minds are fertile grounds where ideas, connections, and innovations flourish. Because they perceive the world in layers that others cannot see, they are capable of unique solutions, novel perspectives, and transformative insights. They are visionaries in thought, even if they are reserved in action, capable of seeing possibility and consequences simultaneously and imagining outcomes that remain invisible to others. This makes them not only rare, but potentially revolutionary in their contributions to any field or endeavor they pursue. And yet, all of this depth comes with its own set of challenges. Their inner world is rich and multifaceted, but it can also isolate them. Others may struggle to understand their perspective, misinterpret their intensity, or feel intimidated by the complexity of their mind. Relationships, work, and social interactions can become arenas where their depth is both a gift and a burden. They are constantly negotiating the balance between revealing enough to connect and protecting the intricate inner world that defines them. In essence, the psychological depth of this rare personality type is a landscape of extraordinary perception, profound emotion, and relentless introspection. It equips them with insights that are often invisible to others, creativity that defies convention, and intuition that anticipates the unseen. It makes them empathetic yet discerning, visionary yet cautious, brilliant yet vulnerable. And within this depth lies both the greatest strength and the subtle danger that accompanies rarity, a complexity that shapes not just who they are, but how they move through a world that is often unprepared for their extraordinary awareness, one of the most challenging aspects of the rarest. Personality type is the way society perceives them, or more accurately fails to perceive them. The world is largely built for conformity, for ease of understanding, and for predictable behavior. Anything that deviates from the norm is often met with suspicion, discomfort, or outright rejection. Those with this rare personality operate outside conventional expectations. Their thoughts are deeper, their behaviors more complex, and their priorities often invisible to the majority. To most people, they seem enigmatic, even intimidating, and this misunderstanding becomes a persistent source of tension in their lives. From a young age, these individuals can feel the subtle friction between themselves and the social world. Teachers, peers, and even family members may label them as different or unusual. Without recognizing the extraordinary depth behind their quiet demeanor, they may be described as aloof, introspective, or overly sensitive. Social interactions, which others navigate with ease, can feel like intricate puzzles to be solved, and their attempts to engage can be misinterpreted as awkwardness or detachment. The very traits that give them insight and empathy often create distance, because most people are not accustomed to encountering such intensity or complexity. This societal misunderstanding extends into adulthood. In professional environments, their meticulous attention to detail, nuanced thinking, and forward-looking perspective can be overlooked or dismissed as overthinking or indecision. Their reluctance to conform to shallow norms or superficial expectations can make them appear difficult or uncooperative, even when their intentions are entirely constructive. They are rarely celebrated for seeing what others miss, and their contributions are often undervalued until the results of their work become undeniable. Yet, the recognition they receive is usually delayed, and in the meantime, they are left to navigate a world that does not fully understand them. Even personal relationships are shaped by this misunderstanding. Romantic partners, friends, and colleagues often struggle to grasp their internal complexity. Their need for reflection and solitude may be interpreted as rejection or indifference. Their insights and intuitions, which come from keen observation and deep perception, may be dismissed as paranoia or exaggeration. In essence, the world around them is ill-equipped to accommodate the layers of awareness, sensitivity, and intelligence that define them. Miscommunication becomes frequent, trust is tested unnecessarily, and their very nature become a source of tension for those who are unprepared to meet them on a deeper level. There is also a subtle danger in being misunderstood. The rarest personality type possesses immense potential for influence, creativity, and insight. But when the world misreads them, they can experience frustration, resentment, or a sense of isolation that chips away at their confidence. Society's inability to recognize their unique contributions may push them into withdrawal, prompting them to conceal their thoughts, feelings, and gifts. Over time, this concealment can diminish their impact as they hesitate to share the insights that could reshape perspectives or inspire innovation. Their rarity, which is a source of power, paradoxically becomes a source of vulnerability in the face of collective misunderstanding. Cultural norms and social conditioning further exacerbate this disconnect. The rare personality type does not operate according to conventional timelines or expectations. They question assumptions, challenge authority, and resist arbitrary rules that lack meaningful logic. In structured environments, this can make them appear rebellious or disruptive. Their refusal to conform is not an act of defiance, but a manifestation of inner integrity and authenticity. Yet society often mislabels authenticity as nonconformity, and nonconformity as a threat. The very qualities that allow them to perceive truth and act with insight are frequently interpreted as liabilities, creating a cycle of misjudgment and alienation. Even within groups that value intelligence or creativity, misunderstanding persists. They are capable of perceiving dynamics that others ignore, predicting consequences that others overlook, and identifying opportunities hidden in plain sight. Yet these abilities can evoke envy, skepticism, or discomfort. People tend to resist what they do not immediately understand, and the rare personality. Natural clarity and foresight may provoke unease or subtle opposition. Misinterpretation, therefore, is not merely an occasional inconvenience, it is a consistent aspect of their interaction with the wider world, shaping how they live, work, and connect with others. Ironically, this societal misunderstanding often reinforces the personality's own inner depth and reflection. Facing a world that does not fully comprehend them, they are forced to rely on themselves, to refine their insights, and to navigate life through the lens of self-awareness. Their rarity, combined with the external inability to recognize it, cultivate resilience, careful observation, and a profound understanding of human nature. And yet, despite these adaptations, the dissonance between their internal reality and societal perception remains a constant challenge, creating tension that shapes the way they move through the world, how they communicate, and how they ultimately seek connection and understanding within them. Rarest personality type lies a paradoxical combination of immense strength and subtle danger. Their gifts are not always immediately visible, and their power is often underestimated because it is quiet, internalized, and operating beneath the surface. This personality is capable of extraordinary insight, creativity, and influence, yet the very traits that make them exceptional can, if misunderstood or mismanaged, become sources of vulnerability. Their strengths and dangers are intertwined, inseparable, and central to the enigma that makes them so rare. One of their most remarkable strengths is perception. They can see patterns and connections that escape most people, recognizing underlying motives, potential outcomes, and subtle shifts in energy or emotion. This ability allows them to navigate complex situations with precision, anticipate problems before they arise, and provide guidance or solutions that appear almost prophetic. Their perception is not limited to facts. It extends to the emotional and psychological dimension of life, giving them insight into human nature that others struggle to comprehend. It is a strength that makes them invaluable in both personal and professional contexts, yet it is often invisible until circumstances demand its revelation. Intuition is another core strength. They do not rely solely on logic or conventional reasoning. Instead, they trust their internal compass, which has been honed through sensitivity and experience. This intuition guides them in making decisions that others might find risky, unconventional, or perplexing. They are able to sense outcomes, detect hidden threats, and identify opportunities that remain invisible to the majority. This strength allows them to navigate uncertainty with confidence and to act decisively in moments of complexity. Their intuitive insight can transform situations and people, shaping outcomes in ways that others cannot foresee. Their emotional depth is a further asset. Unlike many who avoid uncomfortable emotions or superficialized experiences, they feel profoundly and fully. This allows them to connect with others on levels that are rare and meaningful, to offer empathy, guidance, and understanding that resonate deeply. Their emotional intelligence is coupled with analytical rigor, making them capable of balancing heart and mind in ways that inspire trust and loyalty. However, this intensity also makes them susceptible to emotional overwhelm. If their environment is hostile, chaotic, or unresponsive, their empathy, while powerful, can be exploited or misunderstood, creating internal strain. The danger lies precisely in the same traits that grant them strength. Their sensitivity, intensity, and perceptiveness can lead to overthinking, isolation, or emotional exhaustion. They may struggle to find people who can match their depth, resulting in loneliness or frustration. Their high standards, both for themselves and for others, can create tension in relationships, workplaces, or communities that are unprepared for such discernment. Additionally, their rare perspective can make them targets for manipulation by those who fear insight or are threatened by their clarity. Their gifts, when ignored or challenged, can become burdens that weigh heavily on their mental and emotional equilibrium. Another subtle danger is the potential for self-imposed pressure. Because they perceive so much and understand consequences so acutely, they often hold themselves to extraordinary standards. Mistakes, inaction, or perceived failures can weigh disproportionately on their conscience. They are acutely aware of the ripple effects of their decisions, which can create an internal sense of responsibility that borders on overwhelming. Their intelligence and insight, while empowering, also make them prone to self-scrutiny, an inner conflict which can hinder their ability to relax, trust, or act freely. Yet, these challenges coexist with unmatched resilience. Their awareness of danger, human complexity, and societal misunderstanding equips them to navigate obstacles with foresight and caution. They are strategic, reflective, and measured, capable of recovering from setbacks that would destabilize others. Their inner strength is subtle but formidable. It allows them to persist in the face of resistance, to maintain integrity when conformity pressures mount, and to continue shaping their environment even when recognition or support is scarce. Creativity and innovation are also powerful strengths. Their depth of perception, emotional intelligence, and willingness to explore unconventional perspectives give rise to ideas and solutions that are transformative. They are capable of seeing possibilities where others see dead ends, of synthesizing information in ways that produce novel insights, and of inspiring change through subtle influence. And yet, the very rarity that enables such creativity also isolates them, making collaboration challenging and sometimes turning their own ideas against them when misunderstood or rejected by those unprepared to recognize their vision. In essence, the rarest personality type operates on a razor's edge between extraordinary potential and hidden danger. Their perceptiveness, intuition, emotional depth, and creativity make them capable of profound impact. Yet these same qualities can lead to isolation, emotional strain, and societal misjudgment. They are simultaneously powerful and fragile, illuminating and overwhelming, visionary and vulnerable. And it is within this intricate balance that both their greatest gifts and most subtle perils reside. Understanding the rarest personality type is not merely an intellectual exercise, it is a call to awareness, a challenge to recognize the subtle forces at work in yourself and in others. To be aware of this personality type is to perceive the layers of complexity that often go unnoticed, to acknowledge the extraordinary potential that exists in rare minds, and to respect the delicate balance between brilliance and vulnerability that defines them. Awareness is not passive, it requires active observation, reflection, and the willingness to engage with depth in a way that most people avoid. To encounter such a personality without awareness is to risk misjudgment. It is easy to see their quiet demeanor and misinterpret it as indifference, to hear their measured words and dismiss them as hesitation, to observe their solitude and label it as avoidance. Yet, beneath these surface impressions lies a richness of thought, a reservoir of intuition, and a capacity for insight that can reshape perspectives and reveal truths hidden from ordinary perception. Awareness allows us to see beyond the superficial, to honor the intricacy of their inner world, and to understand that rarity is not a limitation, it is a form of power that requires recognition and respect. Self-awareness is an essential part of this understanding. Recognizing the traits of this personality type in oneself can be both illuminating and transformative. It is an invitation to explore your own patterns of thought, the depth of your emotions, and the intuition that guides you through life. It challenges you to confront your own uniqueness, to embrace qualities that may feel alien in a society designed for conformity, and to navigate your strengths and vulnerabilities with intention. Self-awareness is the key to harnessing the extraordinary potential within, transforming what may feel like isolation or misunderstanding into a source of empowerment and clarity. This call to awareness also extends to how we perceive others. In relationships, workplaces, or communities, understanding the rare personality type allows us to interact with them in ways that honor their complexity. It encourages patience, empathy, and active listening. It requires acknowledging that their silence is not emptiness, their observation is not judgment, and their caution is not weakness. Awareness fosters respect, reduces misinterpretation, and creates space for authentic connection, allowing the rare individual to operate in a world that often misunderstands them without feeling threatened, diminished, or alienated. Furthermore, awareness illuminates the potential consequences of neglect or ignorance. When this personality type is overlooked, dismissed, or misjudged, the world loses access to insights that could inspire innovation, compassion, and transformative understanding. Misunderstanding can drive them into isolation, diminish their confidence, or suppress the very qualities that make them extraordinary. By cultivating awareness, we not only honor their presence, but also ensure that their unique contributions are recognized, valued, and supported, creating an environment where their gifts can flourish rather than be constrained. This call to awareness is also a call to courage. It takes courage to confront the unfamiliar, to engage with complexity, to step beyond the superficial patterns that dominate ordinary perception. It asks us to resist snap judgments, to question assumptions, and to embrace the discomfort that comes with recognizing extraordinary depth in ourselves and others. It challenges us to explore dimensions of human nature that are often hidden, nuanced, or unsettling, and to respond not with fear, but with curiosity, insight, and understanding. Awareness is therefore not passive. It is an active, ongoing practice that requires both reflection and engagement, a willingness to see what is hidden, while honoring what is revealed. In practical terms, awareness can transform how we live, work, and relate to the world. It can help us identify patterns in behavior, detect hidden motivations, and anticipate outcomes that others may overlook. It can guide us in forming meaningful connections, in navigating challenges with clarity, and in leveraging rare talents, our own or those of others, for maximum impact. Awareness also fosters patience and tolerance, equipping us to support rare individuals without demanding conformity or suppressing their uniqueness. It allows for collaboration that honors difference rather than diminishes it, creating opportunities for growth, innovation, and shared understanding that would otherwise remain inaccessible. Finally, awareness is a form of responsibility. To recognize rarity is to acknowledge the potential for influence, insight, and transformation that exists within rare individuals. It requires vigilance, respect, and deliberate attention, ensuring that the traits are nurtured rather than dismissed, amplified rather than stifled. It is a practice of honoring depth in a world that often favors the superficial, of valuing insight in a society that prizes speed over reflection, and of recognizing the extraordinary potential that exists quietly among us, waiting to be acknowledged and understood.